The gorgeous, really wonderful new moon that's showing up in Leo at 12 degrees on August the 4th is what we're covering, and I am so excited. I might say it is one of the most surprisingly positive developments in our sky, with the accent on the word surprise. There is a square from Uranus, which can bring love and money surprises. Some of them may feel a little bit tense, but most important to me, despite all of that, is the flow to the north and south nodes of fate. In fact, the way this moon is setting itself up, it really opens up the possibility that what it's trying to move us toward is a delineation of our destiny as regards to Libra and Aries axis in our sky, because this moon creates a wedge, and a wedge is like a door stopper, and the tip of that wedge, the place where this lunation is happening, is where some of the factors in our lives that are destined and meant to be, and our larger forces of our fate, so to speak, are playing out. And so we're going to bring in a little bit of that too. And I do want to mention as well that the energy here of Jupiter in a flow relationship, along with Mars from Gemini, is called a sextile, is giving this lunation a tremendous amount of backup support, like backup units, right? And Jupiter, prosperity, plenty, Mars, decisions and action. So we can see that this is a moon that wants to lift us up. We're going to talk about Arachne, an asteroid that is conjunct this moon. We're going to also talk about the star Dubhe, the great mother bear star in the constellation of the great bear, the she bear energy for fierce protective energy, for the idea that the feminine protective passion, vitality, urge is involved as well. And Venus, of course, is feminine energy. So we'll see what that looks like. In the larger world, there's a lot of cool stories about that as well. So we'll address general world events relative to this new moon. All right. And we'll do that in what we call the world or mundane astrology, which I start or lead every video with. I think today I'll only have about 15 or less minutes on that area of this recording, but we'll also talk about your sign. Now, when people listen for their sign, I say, listen for sun, moon, and rising. Then they say, what does that mean? So here we go. Sun is your purpose and career. Moon, maybe your body and your mind and home-based matters. And then the rising sign is the character you play in the game of life. So it's everything. It's you looking at your life from the lens of the mind, body, character. I'm cast as an Aquarius rising. I'm Spock-like, What's your casting call in this game of life? Now, some of you notice I'm an earring junkie, and I'm wearing these really beautiful earrings because it's a Venus video with a kind of a Venusian background. I'm only having one earring in right now because I'm trying to heal. Like I pulled tore an earring out a little bit and I ripped my ear. But this, it looks like little fairy feathers, and I love it. And the woman who does this, met her at a farmer's market in Ontario, DJ Renn, Twin Willow Weavings. I will put a link to her Instagram and Facebook in my description box below. I have no idea. I think she might be able to mail you things, but these are just gorgeous. It probably is hard to see them with this stupid background, right? Hang on. There we go. Isn't that amazing? When I say these are affordable, they were ridiculously affordable. All right, so that's my only share. No, I'm not making money on this. It's just I love jewelry. I love earrings in particular. All right, so let's talk about this story. Let's go through the details of the stars and all of that and the Sabian. Then I'll move you over to the chart. We'll go through a bit of world astrology, not too much. Don't forget, if you are new here, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And I'm teaching my Sky Reader course coming up in September, midway through, a live course, 6 weeks with me. Check it out. Come learn how to be your own astrologer, time your best life, recordings, evergreen access, live classes. All the description box below gets you to the class description, but also the wait list for early bird discounts. Finally, my 2024 All Signs videos are out. Go check it out below in my description box. You might want to grab those summer sale items where you can get your video of 90 minutes about 2024 and what I think is up for your sign for $14 instead of the old price of $25, or the All Signs 12 videos, each about 90 minutes long for all signs, is now only $33. It used to be $77. So let's get talking, because it's halfway through the year, so it's a summer blowout sale. Let's talk now about the energy of the Sabian symbol. I find it fascinating because it's like, it's Leo 12 degrees where the moon is happening, right? And so the Sabian symbol is always rounded up to 13. And the symbol 13 is the following: an old sea captain rocking An old sea captain rocking. From my book that I like to use, The Sabian Symbols by Diana E. Roche, A Screen of Prophecy. Her keywords are withdrawal, retirement, maturity, nostalgia, reflection, remembrance, reminiscence, longing, contentment, rest. It's kind of like an old sea captain rocking. I guess you could go like contentment rocking chair, but sea captain, right? The sea captain is an interesting idea. I mean, because you think of a sea captain having been on the high seas and had all these adventures and gone off to, peril, and now he's just going to sit on a rocking chair, maybe looking out at the water. So it's almost, I would go more with contentment, peace, retirement, laying back, and of that kind of energy. And that moon can also invite us to do that in the next 2 weeks after the lunation of August 4th. But every new moon also flows out till the full moon. So also rumbling through the 6 months ahead. Arachne, let's talk about her. She's conjunct this moon as well as Dubhe. Dubhe is basically the Big Dipper constellation, and it's a she-bear star. In essence, most software describes it as a very fierce, feminine, protective instinct. And we're going to go with that is rolling through the sky. This moon is taking on celestial light from that star. And even though it's a new moon or a dark moon, that pinprick of light in our sky is behind the lunation. And so the archetypal energy is very fierce mother bear. But also, what about the idea of the Arachne myth? Let's just say Arachne was a weaver girl who was more talented than the goddess of weaving, Athena. And then they had a weaving competition that she was kind of, tricked into. And she beat Athena, or she was just about to beat Athena. She went into like a fugue state and she began to weave all of the tales on a tapestry of the gods and their misbehaviors, gods misbehaving, right? There's a book about that. I think it's a novel. And of course, that's taboo, right? She's just you can't, even if you win the contest, who cares, right? Athena, the master weaver, the goddess herself, was, basically to be honored, not to be mocked, or not to mock the gods. So anyway, then what happened was the girl, realizing what she'd done before, she could be harmed by Athena, ran off, and she hanged herself under a tree. Spoiler alert. And then Athena chased after and felt bad, or realized that the girl really did have talent. So she honored her by turning her into Arachne, and put her into the sky so that she could weave, as Arachne means spider, the arachnids, right, or spiders, so she could weave for the rest of her days, like a spider weaving a web. So make of it what you will. I've always taken it to mean that we have talents within us that reach or match the talents of the gods. Who are the gods? The gods are us. We're sparks of the divine. We are divine. We are gods. We are creators. We are from source, sparks of source. If that's true, which entertain the idea that it could be, then this is an invitation to find that spark within us, that spark where we have this, not just the mundane, right? I'm going to make a carbon copy, sock based on a knitting pattern. I'm going to invent a sock. I'm going to be original. I'm going to get my divine spark out. Where can we be, each of us, creative, not just in an artistic way, but creators at the level of the gods in our lives, where we can best the gods or match the gods in our ability to create? Because what was a weaver, Athena, doing? Arachne and Athena doing? They're weaving tapestries. And I think that the actual myth about weaving, like Athena is a weaver and then Arachne is a weaver. Well, when Arachne was weaving, she wove stories, and she wove stories about the gods. We weave stories in our own lives, right? We weave stories all of the time. The story we tell about ourselves to our friends and family, the story we tell about ourselves in our own head. And so story weaving is reality creation. So that's my take on it. Because we have that square to Uranus that Venus gets tangled up in just before the moon. And why are we talking about Venus? Because Venus is sitting in Leo at the time of the new moon in Leo. She's going to be at the very tail end on fixed star Regulus. She'll be at 29 degrees, just getting ready to transition. That's a potent, powerful, climactic, anoretic, intense, critical degree. And on Regulus, fame, power, riches, success, little king born to rule. She's on that star. but she's just come off a shocking, surprising energy with Uranus. So she's carrying that energy and it's infusing the whole leonine sky where this moon is happening. It's like the energy is filled with Venus's surprise energy with Uranus. Now, look, Venus is a relational god. I mean, she unites us with financial wellness, she unites us with people. But there is a quote by the poet Anne Nin that I really always liked, because when I think about Venus and I think about Uranus, I think about those unexpected surprises of when we meet another, whether it is a friendship another or a love relationship another, that open us up to a doorway of new worlds. And her quote goes like this. Let me grab it for you. And the quote is that each friend, okay, this is, I'm quoting right now off of my good old Google internet, fast and dirty find. Oh, come on. It just cut the quote out of my viewfinder. I don't want that. Thank you. Here we go. Each friend represents a world in us, a world possibly not born until they arrive. And it is only by this meeting that a new world is born. So we meet people, we meet situations in life that do change us. And I do find that because this energy of Venus square Uranus in her home kingdom of Taurus, Venus at the tail end of Leo, where this moon is happening. This is sort of infusing like a fragrance, the energy of this new moon. I expect we will all find new worlds of possibility are born in our lives as we are able to connect with the unexpected or surprising elements of our life when it comes to those with whom we relate in love or in friendship. And I expect some new friendships or unexpected love and money stories to emerge for all of us in the next 2 weeks and 6 months. I'm going to bring you over to the sky and we're going to talk about what Leo means for the world with this new moon, and reminding you, I mean, a new moon is happening, guys, every single darn once a year. So it's not unusual to have a new moon at this time of year in Leo when the sun is in Leo season. It's what the moon is doing, who the moon is talking to, the qualities of the energy the moon is in. This is in the second decan of the sign, the middle 10 degrees of the sign of Leo, because it's 12, right? So between 10 and 20. And that's the Six of Wands and the tarot. All you tarot readers know that's a beautiful card of triumph and success. It's a card of having a kind of riding in on the, with the bounty of your success, resting on your laurels, being able to take your bows. And Six of Wands energy is here as well. And wands are about creativity, creation, divine soul spark energy. I love this moon. Let's get you guys over there to the sky so we can talk about it for the world and then for your sign. I'm putting this out on probably Sunday, the 28th, the day after my son's wedding celebration. And then I may do an update video if I have time closer to the moon. I'm recording this today, of course, early on July 24th, which is a Wednesday. My Patreon community gets this today, early access and ad-free. If you want to join my Patreon community to get meetings with me, discounts on readings, first chance to book with me before I open up to the general public to have a session with me. All the information is in my description box below. Click the button that says Patreon. All right. And go find out more about my tiers. Okay, here we go. So here we have it. It's just set for a Cancer rising. Don't worry about that. It's just going to that's where it landed. We're not starting with Cancer. We're just going with the world events. August the 4th, the moon is happening here around 12 degrees and 30 odd minutes. It doesn't matter exactly the time. People are always fixated on that. Do you do magic on a new moon? Well, apparently, according to the pop astrology land, you do. I think in the ancient tradition, it's better to do the magic as the moon is the first crescent sliver, the waxing crescent, maybe about 2.5, 3 days in, because you're doing moon magic in the darkness. And I know it's like planting the seed in the dark, but there's no light from which to expand, right? So humble opinion, do your intentional ceremonies and magic when there's a little bit of light, not the dark moon, but hey, you do you. And here we have this new moon. Now, the new moon in Leo, there's Dubhe, that mother bear star with a fierce protective energy. And then we also have Arachne here, the one who could best the gods with her own creativity, but she wove stories of the gods. What stories do you want to weave in your your life? And there's the Vestal flame. The Vestal flame of sacred devotion. It is about what it is you wish to devote yourself to from a sense of sacred purpose or sacred duty instead of kind of like everyday obligation. And there's a sense there of also tending some fire, a fire tending. What is the fire? Well, it's connected to the creativity of Arachne, the weaver. So it's a fire around creativity in our lives. Okay, a spark around creativity and being a creator as a spark of the divine. That's how I see it anyway. The support structure is coming, and there's Venus at the anaretic degree on Regulus. And she, of course, just came off of the Uranus storyline. And if I take it back a few days, you'll see what I mean. Here she is at 25 degrees and Uranus at 26 on August the 1st. Then on August the 2nd, they're exactly in a square. I'll be covering that in my weekly astrology for that week ahead. But you can see that she's just got like, holy surprise, like love and money or friendship and Taurus matters, resources, surprise. And then we move forward. And she's past the surprise, but now there's a new moon, and it's kind of the new moon got infused, right? What about the nodes of fate? And what about Jupiter, Mars? Jupiter, Mars are beside each other, and they're in a whole sign flow, especially Jupiter. Let me annotate. So Jupiter is coming off of a sextile here to Venus, okay, that was more active behind us approximately around the 21st of July weekend to about, from about the 20th to the 22nd of July. We were really feeling this energy of a sexy sextile. The sextiles are the nature of Venus. And we may have gotten some really good energies going. I had a call with an agent for my book, for example, just happened to be on Sunday, which was opening up energies of positive luck, grace, expansion, growth, goodness, wisdom, a deep desire at a true level within us. All of that was really loving us up in the history of us back in the near the 21st, 22nd, 23rd. And then she's moved on from that. But Jupiter can still witness her, give testimony, see her, and see the moon. And there we have it. And so the witnessing by Jupiter is like having Santa Claus or fairy godfather paying attention to what is happening here. And if I move that sun back off of 12 degrees and I go back 3 days, right, from this 12-degree sun, and I watch what I'll do. Let's get this mess off my screen. Watch me move back in the sky 3 days. And I want you to pay attention to the sun is at 12 degrees, and we're going to go backwards 3 and 4 days. 1, 2, 3, 4. When we move the sun back about 4 days, July the 31st, what you're going to notice is the sun, who is going to be a pivotal player, as always, in the formation of a new moon-sun conjunction, that is a sun in a very strong relationship to the nodes of fate. That is a wedge formation. It looks like a door stopper. I should have just drawn it like that, right? You can stick your door stopper. That's how I think of it. And the energy is the nodal axis is what you need to release, surrender, let go of, find your spiritual self, what you're striving for in the material realm around success, North Node Rahu. And the tension there is being energized and positively discharged through this new moon, which becomes perfect at 12 degrees. Only a few days later, 4 days after, we see the perfect wedge in the sky, making the moon also involved with this energy. So where I would take this for you and me and all signs is something along the lines of how are we over the next 2 weeks from the 4th of August and also the next 6 months, really trying to open up a resolution to the eclipse intensity between how signs Aries and Libra, and that will apply to the meanings of the houses. I'll tell you about that in your sign. And the discharge energy where we can resolve that tension in the Leo part of our sky. And that's going to be how I'm going to delineate a lot of this for all signs. What about for the world? Well, in the world, Leo represents celebrities and rulers and kings. And so in that sense, leaders, celebrities, rulers, and kings. Energetically, those people are skylighted because we see that is what the story is going to be about. So themes about these types of folks are going to be prevalent in the United States chart, because the United States is Sag rising. Let's just make it a Sag rising chart for simplicity's sake. Give me a minute. Am I still recording? Oh, please tell me. Yes, I am. All right, let's make it a Sag rising. Let's just trundle it back a couple hours or forward. So in the United States of America, where there's a lot of intensity and a lot of news going on, we have a lunation, right? A new beginning, new moon in Leo. And Leo is the top of the sky, but it's often connected to, funny enough, like the hand of the king, like vice presidents, second in commands, bureaucracy, like, the bureaucratic type of government, the legislative bodies as well. So all of that. So when we talk about just like the president of the United States or something, that would be 10th house, right? This could be anybody, a congressman, a Senate person, someone vying for the vice presidency role, all that kind of stuff. Well, a new moon in Leo with Venus is women leader, right? Female leader who has great talent, Arachne, who's a fierce mother bear. I don't know, guys, what's a fierce mother bear type of energy? Is it Kamala Harris? I don't know. I mean, she's now the de facto got the delegate votes. So she's the one who will be on the ticket, it seems, and she'll be picking her vice president candidate, I guess, because it looks like that's what's happening. It looks like she's being ordained by the powers that run the powers that be. So she's the ordained one, and we want to ask ourselves what that looks like in the world as this new moon begins, new female leadership. And also the idea at the very time of this moon, of course, we have Mercury, the news god, in the 10th house of the king or the ruler or the leading person in power. In this case, that's Joe Biden. Now, Joe Biden is conjunct Venus in Leo. I add a sign, but there may be some announcements like what? I mean, conjecture is Joe Biden may announce it for health reasons. He's going to retire before the election. And if that was to happen as a result in the 2 weeks after this moon, or really soon before it even, then that could look like possibly just Kamala is going to give us all a sense of how she operates as a president before the actual ballot race thing, before the election in the fall. Now, the only other thing I would note for the world, not really personally, is just the presence of Pluto across the way. Now, Pluto across the way, death of solar figure, coincided with Joe Biden stepping aside from the nomination, right? But Pluto's presence is retrograde, and in September will move into the second house through to mid-November. And during the elections, Pluto is not a part of the Aquarian realm, which instead he is a part of the second house of the United States, which is financial. And this is where we saw Occupy Wall Street and we saw the Me Too movement. We're going to see a lot of uncovering of matters perhaps to do with the stock market, because the Uranus-Mars conjunction was on the sun of the New York Stock Exchange. And so we'll see turbulence perhaps this fall relative to financial markets or economic matters. In the meantime, just knowing that the new moon still bakes in a Pluto heavy breathing across the way, this is a very qualitatively different new moon in Leo than we've lived through, right? It's got this essence of the Pluto narrative really strongly implicated here. And last year, though Pluto was in the sign of Aquarius, right? He did go into Aquarius. He was in March through June. And by the time we had a Leo new moon, he was no longer here. And so what I'm suggesting is that this is a very different collective energy to do with whatever is new and fresh with women and power and leader, and Pluto is wealth and power. There's a new energy hatching for the world. I have the domain Wise Women Rising. People always ask to buy it, or I've had offers and I haven't sold it because I never knew when I'd need it, but it could be, although wise women may not be rising, political women are rising. And maybe at one day in our life, it'll be the wise women that rise as well. wisewomenrising.com. If you guys have any ideas about how to use it, let me know. Had it for a decade. All right, let's go ahead and do your sign. I don't think there's much else to say. I think I covered the most important parts of the story. When the United States, when I look at the United States chart here, right, and I'm just saying, hey, look at the nodal axis that's going on here. This could also be North Node expanding, media, celebrity, entertainment industry, new beginnings, Venus. So what kind of famous entertainer may be breaking the news stories open in the public in the United States? I hope it's not more Taylor Swift. Is anyone else tired of Taylor Swift? I don't get the cult of Taylor Swift. I have no idea what the hell that's about. But other women may be rising up from the back end of sort of celebrity and media world stories in the next 2 weeks and 6 months after this election, after this new moon, who have a protective, fierce mother bear. They're super creative and talented in weaving something, right? I almost want to say, women involved in mercurial things, news cycles, females involved in writing, females involved in stories to do with writing and news, because Mercury was here, right, with this crew. All right, let's go ahead and do your sign. We're starting with Aries and we're moving on. If you like this kind of content, that's the all sign content, then please consider hitting the like button and subscribing. It really supports the channel to grow and just to thrive, right? Like, I'm not begging, if you don't like it, don't click the button, right? But if you like it, now also, are you subscribed? Because if you're not, check. YouTube unsubscribed about 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers in the month of June. I'm finding a lot of you checked and you've been unsubscribed. You're not a bot, but they said they were only dumping bots and fake accounts. And number two, I think it's close to 50 or 60% of you who regularly watch my channel are subscribed. But if you have not subscribed and you watch my channel regularly, please also subscribe. It really just a small bit of finger button pushing on your side, and it helps me grow as well, algorithmically. Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, first off, the thing I want you to notice is that you're going to have this beautiful energy of a new beginning in a house that's about creative and procreative energy. If you are a young person or whatever, of an age where having a child is something you want to do, this is very good for fertility. Young men and women, doesn't matter, you or your partner may be able to conceive a child in the next 6 months if that's something that you have on your desire plate, because Venus is giving us what we want, what we desire. And she's a fertility, sperm and ovum goddess in a house of pregnancy. Therefore, there's a possibility with this arrangement for a pregnancy for some of you. Are you weaving a new baby into being in your life with Mother Bear Star, Big Bear Star here as well? What I also noticed is there's some surprises. And, think of baking something into clay. This is not just about the day of August 4th or even the couple of weeks that follow the moon. It is about the next 6 months, and Uranus is involved, and there are surprises that may not be expected, maybe just before the moon for sure, but also kind of a rumble of the unexpected could occur as this moon is sort of covering what Venus is up to as well. Unexpected surprises in money and changes of dietary style in order to have more vitality, more joy, more enthusiasm in your life, because fun, play, joy, enthusiasm, procreativity, and creativity and entrepreneurial success are what this new moon wants to plant seeds for you in your life. The flow to the nodes of fate in Aries and Libra are helping you discharge the tension of eclipses that keep destabilizing and rattling perhaps committed love and business partnerships in the 7th house. Or bring fated new ones into your life. Well, also these eclipses keep asking you to reinvent yourself, and for all time's sake, forever and ever, for the next 50 years, heal that chironic wound that has been bothering you since 2018-19, as Uranus has been giving you an identity crisis. Healing the identity crisis and healing the relationship, significant long-term committed stories in your life, discharged through the 5th house of you being vital, enthusiastic, creative, having fun in your life, enjoying your life, the house of enjoyment, having a sense of wanting to, where do you want to jump for joy? What does inspire you? That's the key to resolving the tensions in the long-term committed love. And also in the ways you reach out to your audience and marketplace. 10th from the 10th, South Node is depleting that. That example for me as an Aries sun is I've closed my calendar up. I'm not seeing clients in the summer. I took the time out from release, surrender the client so that I could have some joy and enjoyment and physical health in my life. It's only so much that one person can do. How are you, Aries, letting go of the seventh house stories? This is about, hey, and because you're working it, sparks of joy and vitality. Finally, sexuality. This is really discovering that romantic sexual impulse within you. And if you're a single Aries, with this combination, a wedge, this is indicating fated, destined new love stories are emerging in your life over the next 6 months. And you may have evidence of that in the next 2 weeks. Jupiter just says, let me lend a hand. Let me give you more fun, play, joy, and pleasure through writing projects, social media, skills-based learning, teaching, things to do with short distance travel, things to do with neighbors and neighborhood enjoyment, including maybe a change of neighborhood, Mars, and that will spark and vitalize you over the next 2 weeks and 6 months that follow this glorious new moon in Leo. And Mars being your ruler, flowing to this moon and in the third house often looks like a change of neighborhood, right? Or traveling quite a lot in the next 6 months to spark that greater joy. All right. I think I might need a chocolate. I usually stop for a Libra. Okay. Can you guys hold on for a sec? I just hit not really a sugar low, but I was up at 5 a.m. this morning, went to bed at 11. It's still a little bit of world travel, not being on the right time zone, a little bit of jet lag still left here. So give me a sec. I'll be right back. All right, let's get on to the Taurus story. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. In the sky, what you have going on, of course, is our yearly new moon in your fourth house. Your fourth house is about that nest. It's where you live. It's kind of your quiet, private, hidden life. Where do you live? That's it. Where do you spend your downtime? Where are you not in the public eye? Hopefully, if some of you at your mom and dad's home, some of you at your condo, hopefully none of you at your tent. But, homeless people have been known to follow my channel, and my heart goes out to you if that's your condition. But the energy here simply says, a new beginning in the home. And every year you have an opportunity for a new beginning in your home of some sort, even a new home. This is a particularly powerful and auspicious opportunity to possess a home because of the Jupiter-Mars flow to this, and change your home, possess a home, sell a home, buy a home, move your home. This kind of energy from a money house and this from a fourth house indicates possible shifts there. Well, a new beginning, new moon also activates the energy of Venus, a home you love, a joy, brings great pleasure, great success, great wealth. And also that you have a devotional attitude toward. Maybe you want to set up in your new home a fireplace, or maybe you want to set up a temple or a sacred relaxation studio, finding the sacred home, right? Okay. Oh my God. Kind of reminds me of, finding a devotional sacred space to be in your life, in your home. Some of you may just open up a special corner of your house with some candles, but you get the idea. That is also opening up possibilities of rental agreements that are letting go, ending, shifting, releasing old rental agreements, maybe getting rid of that and finding some new rental property to live in, or if you're a landlord, maybe to rent out, but likely it's more for the tenants listening today, that you may have a new tenancy opportunity, or you may rent out a commercial property for all I know, but rental properties are a storyline. If you've wanted to have a pet in your home and for some reason you haven't, a karmic and destined little animal, a little family member who's not got human DNA may come into your life over the course of the couple of weeks or 6 months after this new moon. And that would be like a soulmate karmic relationship to that animal. Believe me, animals have souls. And so it's not just any old animal. Maybe it's a return of an animal you once loved. You can possess an animal with a karmic connection to that animal. Okay, that's all I'll say about that. If you need to change your home and one of the reasons you've been unable to has to do with a pet, then that could also indicate something going on that allows you to move because now you've got an opportunity, whether the pet is no longer with us or but pet moves, house moves, that kind of thing. The karmic energy between 6 and 12 is to help you break addictions, self-sabotage patterns, bad habits, and undoing your own self, especially when it comes to your health matters. There's a shifting and a turning and things you're doing in and from the home. And what you're changing with Mars here about what you put in your mouth is allowing for a greater shift that's destined to heal sabotaging circumstances, including addictive ones. Finally, if some of you have been thinking about getting a job or finding a new financial opportunity through work, that may also be what this is looking like. The moon is anchoring it close to home. We're not talking about going far away into a strange land. No, getting some kind of employment or work opportunity close to home, or coming from your family of origin, mother and dad, energies like favors from people in your family, whatever that is. Work opportunities begin to open up if you look for them, if you want them. That could be what we see with the Jupiter flow to the node of fate, but also the new moon as well, flowing to the node of fate in the house of work and job. And with Pluto at the top of the sky in a whole sign way, you could get very powerful opportunities that can bring you great success and power and transformation in work and job matters. Ultimately, I'll finish off with what it is you wish to weave into being in and from your home that brings you joy and pleasure in and from the home. Thank you to the weaver, and to be a mama bear in the home, to find your fierce, protective, feminine instincts alive and well in and from your home, even if you're a male. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. This new moon in your third house at 12 degrees of Leo, especially favorable, of course, to Gemini's near 12 Leo, sun, moon, or rising. It's opening up a new beginning, a fresh start that allows you to be creative, to be a weaver of stories in the house of writing. And so for a lot of Gemini folk, there's a desire to engage in social media land, blogging, writing projects, perhaps over the course of the 6 months ahead, as well as in the 2 weeks that follow. But if you're not writing, then you just also may be traveling. We do short distance travel here. And Venus is all about what brings you pleasure and satisfaction. And so what is the satisfaction and pleasure of traveling, and maybe even to far off foreign lands and far off places with Uranus here? You may have some surprising opportunities for long distance travel that could really, really be about, what is going to power you up. And Pluto in the house of foreign lands and shores and visas as well. There's a lot of travel energy awakening in your chart. If some of you may wish to learn something, a skills-based education, learn how to do something, not like a doctorate in nuclear physics, something more practical. Some of you are looking at that opportunity emerging for a learning opportunity in the next 6 months. With the third house, there are people here. Venus often represents a person. This would be a younger sibling or aunt, uncle, cousin, niece, nephew, or just maybe categoric siblings coming into the story, and you're making decisions about those relationships and you're taking action. Jupiter is in the house of your Gemini placement, and this is bringing you a lot of luck. And so lucky Jupiter and prosperous Jupiter is in your court. And this new moon opens up possibilities of prosperity to connect it to things you're doing in the third house. Again, I mentioned the third house meanings. You might be teaching, you might be learning, you might be traveling, you might be writing, you might be on social media. We would say that the nodes of fate are being angled into a wedge. And the nodes of fate are, you've been working through some stories here of like letting go regarding your children, regarding your romantic and love relationships, regarding certain creative and entrepreneurial projects. You've been busy grasping, striving, and expanding into larger gains in your career, but maybe at the expense of balance. And so now this rebalancing is here for you between fun, joy, play, pleasure, creativity, and inspiration, and matters to do, of course, with greater career earnings and gains. And that energy and that tension between 5 and 11 finds its outlet in the third house. I have a progressed son. I'll say that to me is writing the astrology book that I have an agent for, or the proposal to start, and maybe the book later on, and finding again that inspiration of storytelling and weaving something here. Finally, your third house is your neighbors and your neighborhood and the everyday fishbowl in which you swim. Thank you, Adam. And this energy is to say that's going to be much more enjoyable, much more pleasurable, much more fun, much more rich over the course of the 2 weeks and 6 months that follow this new moon. There's no doubt about that. Some of you may change your neighborhood or find new friendships and social engagements because of Venus within your existing neighborhood that bring you an incredible amount of pleasure and satisfaction. Just having Mercury having been here and now moved into the fourth house can indicate negotiations, deals, and contracts around property matters as well, home and property. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising sign. A new beginning, a new moon is forming in your second house. Money, earnings, possessions, savings, resources financially, and dietary style. A lot of you may try out a new style, like, quit a substance that you put in your mouth that's bad for you. Try out vegetarian, vegan, keto, whatever. New styles of diet can be emerging here for many of you, including anything to do with how you change what you eat. But also your money is here. Venus is a money goddess as well as a pleasure goddess. And she's saying, well, you may, in fact, have some surprising changes in your money earnings direction. You might have a surprising uplift in your finances just before the new moon, and that may ripple through to the 2 weeks and 6 months that follow. With this new moon, you have this creative storytelling, weaving goddess Arachne, the spider girl. How are you harnessing a unique talent or ability in order to generate financial money as you expand your career, expand your presence, and reach for the top of the sky for what Rahu wants you to have, as long as it's connected to your true purpose, which is success in your career and financial success that comes from that reputation and visible success. And also, possibly Jupiter supporting you can give you a lot of deep support from a guide, coach, mentor, or teacher, or from your own deep inner soul work as you go diving into the deeper parts of yourself to sustain career and income from a deeply meaningful place. But on a practical note, you can generate income from far off foreign shores and foreign places and peoples because of this energy of Jupiter. And this new beginning, new moon flows to the second house. So career, money, resources, foreign places, and foreign shores can be a part of the narrative for some of you in the 2 weeks and 6 months that follows. So whether you're doing digital borderless income and revenue kind of stuff, or you get an opportunity to travel somewhere to work, or you get hired by a foreign company, this kind of stuff looks like possible for many, many of you. Or some of you anyway, over the course of the 2 weeks and 6 months that follows this moon. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign, new moons in the sign of you. For those of you with your sun or moon or rising anywhere 3 degrees before or after 12 degrees of Leo, it's particularly intense. This is your moon that resets your life and your direction over the course of the next 6 months and 2 months. Vance has got a sun, JD Vance. Trump's sidekick has got a sun in Leo, and it's resetting his sun purpose and career, new beginnings, and it's auspicious. I think he's a Cancer rising based on the shape of his face. I think I saw Joni Petrie just come out with his birth time. I think it's 8:10 a.m. I'm not sure if that's become public. I haven't had a chance to look, but I tried to rectify JD Vance's chart before that, and I came up with Cancer rising, and she has concluded Leo rising in Vedic, which is probably, take it back 23 degrees, a Cancer rising in tropical. So the reason I bring that up is because, of course, this new moon is happening for JD Vance. He is having a new beginning in his sun career purpose stories. That beard is Leo. The round face is Cancer energy. You're looking a lot here, Leos, like you wish to go into more of a sacred devotion to yourself, to what really inspires you. It inspires the creator and the creativity and the story weaver aspect of yourself. And you're also opening up with Dubhe from this new moon, the part of you that wants to be protective of those who need protecting, as a mother bear would protect those cubs of hers as well. It's fierce energy. of a feminine nature emerging for Leos, whether you're male or female, it matters not. What I like about this, of course, is that we have energy baking in of support from Jupiter. And that can mean a lot of allies and benefactors and people who wish to support you over the course of the next 2 weeks and 6 months after the new moon, or increase of gains financially through the way you are really tuned in to this more deep spiritual, creative, sacred part of your own self. And this is where those creative financial resources come from. This, don't forget, you've just come through that square from Uranus to Venus. Like for J.D. Vance, there's a bit of a surprise to do with elements of his career and reputation and himself that is emerging for him as this moon comes into place a few days before the moon. So you've had a surprise in your career zone, but now you're really resetting yourself because of Jupiter's support. And there's just a sense of like, Jupiter's in the house of his joy in the 11th, and it's really a house of our real dreams and wishes for our life. If you did have a fairy godfather and you asked for what you really wanted for your long range goals and dreams, that's what's happening here for Leos. And you have the chance to really weave your long range goals and dreams with Jupiter's help and some of the abundance you can have from that into your life over the 2 weeks and 6 months that follow. The nodes of fate, the moon creates a wedge to the nodes of fate where you've had eclipses and will continue to have them into the fall. You might have had to really deal with some situations to do with travel, siblings, learning, higher learning, visas, legal matters, difficulties with neighbors and neighborhood stories. These are axis of 3 and 9. And there is a kind of you taking the bull by the horns and you figuring out how to resolve or alleviate that, because you are the new beginning, and everything else falls into place around you. Your new beginning is also connecting you to greater opportunities with foreign people, foreign lands, foreign countries, and foreign shores. J.D. Vance, vice president, if they won, that would make sense, right? North node in the 9th house. Okay, so keep on keeping on there, you Leo big-haired beasties. Alrighty, Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. You do have this energy, really exciting new beginning on a very auspicious moon in the 12th house. It's subtle. It's so subtle. It's if you have some addiction, you're like, you can't quit the weed, you've got a problem with cigarettes, alcohol is not your friend anymore, then you can completely begin to turn that around in a way that will surprise you. Uranus says surprise, maybe through education, maybe through learning, or maybe through some guidance and mentors that can help you here. But the reason I think that is true here, because even though Venus loves her pleasures, and these are often hidden pleasures, like secret pleasures you do alone in the 12th house. What are you doing alone? Forbidden pleasures, maybe? Even though that's true, she's anoretic and she's finishing, completing, and ending that story. Don't forget the decan of the new moon as well is some kind of success of the 6 of wands. So victory, success energy. And you might notice that you have this energy of a sacred flame. And that's kind of like a dedicated energy. You're devoted to something. And for those of you struggling with these elements of reality that have undone you, even if they're emotional bad patterns or self-sabotaging, self-undoing, these are about to shift in the next 2 weeks and 6 months from this moon. Some of you may also travel to far off on foreign shores and may unexpectedly do that as well. That may be something that you enjoy and have pleasure in long distance foreign travel. And pay attention to your dreams. I mean, Arachne is a story weaver. She's in the house of the unconscious and the deeper levels of our soul. And so look to your dreams, look to using shamanic journeys and trance states if you want to go deeper into your imagination, and read the books by Neville Goddard or read Awakened Imagination by Neville Goddard. Could be a real help for you in this sky right now. You can also count on Jupiter. I mean, he's bringing you career luck. My Virgo rising daughter just got a dream job. Career luck, expansion, and growth. Of course, a lot's going to depend on the degree of your rising or sun or moon, but also on other factors in your chart. But a lot of you are having a luck, expansion, prosperity, plenty, goodness in your career space. And with Jupiter up here, that's a story that also is being supported by the new moon. And it's kind of also interesting. You may work for an international company, My daughter will be. You may travel for that company. You may also do things at home that straighten out your inner life and brings you great success in that company or that job or that career path that you're on. I do want to say that Mars brings you a lot of passion in the career zone and kind of bakes in that quality as well over the 2 weeks after the moon and the 6 months after as well. You've been dealing up financial stresses around the nodal eclipse cycles that began in 2023 in the summer, well, actually April 23. So you've been trying to figure out how to let go and release and surrender, maybe the worry, maybe the lack of balance in your spending, savings, money, earnings part of your chart. You've been learning some karmic lessons about your financial resources. And at the same time, you've been looking at the potential of expansion and success in those eighth house finances, maybe money you share with a spouse, maybe money you share with inheritances and money you can share through investments and shareholders and stuff like that. So you're really looking to expand eighth house money and heal a wound you have around that kind of money for the last few years. And this is going to help you. And it's a inner work because we find ourselves, houses 12 and 8 are secrets, secretive stuff, hidden stuff. And you're really healing the secrets that hold you back, including the ones that bring you a sense of disappointment or shame or self. What do you call it? Like you beat up on yourself. That's turning a corner as a result of this new moon. And sometimes we just have a secret suspicion we're not good enough or that we're not okay somehow. That's very 8th house, 12th house energies, because underneath everything, you are eternal and you are not the character you play. And so there's a kind of healing of that suspicion of self, that there's something wrong with you or you're not okay. And that's changing as well in the 2 weeks and 6 months after this lunation. And ultimately, with Pluto in your sixth house, sort of breathing fumes all over the place, you're getting more powerful, more transformational, more wealthy in work and health matters, also in the kiboshing or the ending of addictions. Yes, give those 6 months after this moon a chance to show you that what I say may be true. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, hello. You want to make some more money in your career? This is excellent. New beginnings and the great gains from your career, whether those are awards, rewards, finances, money, income, paycheck. Also, new beginnings with friendships. You're probably making new groups of friends, and you're going to be ones that ending friendships, maybe completing older ones, but also bringing in very deep karmatic new friends and social groups into your life. You're widening your friendship circles to international, foreign people, Jupiter expanding it from the 9th house. And for some reason, there may be changes and wholesale changes in groups of belonging, no longer belonging to that church or that social group and trying something new. I think that you may have come into a kind of a surprise energy just before the new moon, and it's going to kind of be a part of like the catalyst for what this is about. And it can be to do with inherited money or family money or some kind of finances that surprised you and connected maybe to your family of origin, an elder sibling, maybe just connected to money connected to your savings or investments and to retirement stuff or inheritances. But anyway, even if that didn't happen, this new moon is continually reverbing off of some, shocking surprises that could be positive in your long range finances, with Uranus in the 8th house of chunky money, unearned income. Because we get windfalls and pennies from heaven in the 11th house, some unexpected windfalls may have happened just before the moon or unroll in the 2 weeks after the moon, or could even float through the 6 months after this lunation as well. We like the energy, though, a lot of how the nodes of fate have been sending turbulence waves in the I-thou axis, your business partnerships, your long-term marital relationships, your relationships to your audience or clients have been in, you and them have been in this like turbulent buffer zone of eclipses. And this is like a time where possibly in the 2 weeks after the moon and the 6 months after the moon, you could find that you can resolve some of this turbulence in the wounding around your business and love relationships through some of the good spirit blessings of the 11th house. And that can be about a wish come true, but also a friend, a benefactor, an ally, someone really like an older sibling energy cheering you on and giving you the lift you need, and maybe mitigating or balancing out the way some significant relationship may have been pulling you in, maybe coming to an end, or maybe just having to be reinvented. I always say the North Node through the seventh house if you're in an existing love story. This long-term and committed, your pot is root bound. The tree is not growing. You need to repot it. There has to be an expansion of the terms of service in that relationship for the karmatic endings not to occur and for the growth to instead happen. So keep that in mind as well. Finally, friends from foreign places and far shores is all over this for multiple reasons. New relationships, new friendships, and even new love relationships with people in far off foreign shores for many of you Libras is in play 2 weeks after and 6 months after this moon. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. Okay, career beginnings all over, new beginnings that bring you joy, pleasure, financial well-being, that you enjoy the new career path or the new things happening in your current career itself. And you're devoted to it. You're really enjoying it. You have a sacred flame. You really want to be in a place of success and enjoy the success as you weave new stories about your own career success in a fierce mother bear way, you know? Now, it doesn't mean you have to change your job. Some of you will. That's definitely because this is flowing to the North Node, South Node axis. That can be a change of job, a destined shift in the work you're doing in the world, a new opportunity, a destined new opportunity in work. Also, the career space is also the reputation space, and you're at the top of the sky with Venus, the goddess of love. This can be a wedding energy here, or this can be something to do with you being visible and almost a bit of a new beginning in your public visibility. Like, oh, look at me. Everyone notices me now. I'm at the top of my sky. So, you know, I'm a celebrity or I'm famous or everyone notices me. That can happen, but it'd be for professional reasons, right? Jupiter wants to increase your financial wealth when it comes to chunky money. For some of you, that's definitely inheritance money coming your way by next summer. But at this time, Jupiter bakes into this moon a 2 week and 6 months after energy flow to suggest you will flow financially in ways that don't require a lot of grind, not working that hard for it. Some unexpected financial prosperity may emerge here through your partner as well, your significant other, and their finances helping you prosper as well. Possibly with some of you, Uranus, you know, coming into that algal star on the seventh house, you know, wealth coming from something you do on the internet that goes viral because of the Venus square. That could be true. Or that your partner does. And it might be time for you to let go of some of your own bad habits. You know, South Node is the empty, like pull the plug in the drain and swirl the water down the drain. And where do you need to swirl water down the drain? In something that looks like, you know, 12th house matters, you know, self-undoing. And I think a lot of Scorpios will make a choice to let go of any self-undoing bad habits and patterns that they don't need anymore, that's no longer serving you. And you're ready to say goodbye to that over the course of the 2 weeks and 6 months that follow. Sagittarius, new moon blossoming in your sky at the ninth house place. Beginnings that bring you sacred devotion, pleasure, satisfaction, creativity, but yet connected to book publishing, podcasting, higher educational settings, matters to do with a third long-term committed, like a marriage relationship. So people ask me, what do you mean by a third marriage? I mean, like a third marriage. I never understand that question. Is it inconceivable that somebody would have a third marriage partner? Yeah. So yes, like a third marriage partner. I get that question a lot in the comments. What do you mean like a third marriage? First marriage, seventh house, second marriage, second house, third marriage, ninth house. So a third marriage can blossom, thrive, have a new beginning, be creative. Grandchildren belong to your ninth house. This is definitely new beginnings, new moons, and fertility and dedication. Some of you Sagittarius will find there's a new grandchild coming through the story, especially with the node of fate in the house of children. So we're seeing grandchildren emerging as a narrative in the 2 weeks and 6 months that follow this moon. The new moon up here can put you on purpose up to true north, find your deeper meaning in life. You may also go back to school and want to learn something in the 2 weeks and 6 months that follow. And if you're an author, then you could have some great success in the book publishing world over the course of the 6 months that follow the moon. Jupiter is supporting from the house of legal contracts, agreements, book publishing deals, for example. Powerful, dynamic people can support you as, these types of Jupiter Mars folks are arising in your life. Commander in chief, bold, confident people coming into your world. If you're a single Sag, Jupiter in the 7th house, North Node in the 5th house, you may get engaged. You may get into a new relationship with someone from a foreign land, foreign shore, someone in an academic setting, or someone you meet through travel in the 2 weeks after the moon or up to the 6 months after the moon. You may be also working on relationships with one of your children, and there's a shift around that relationship that's positive as a result of this energy in the sky now. And you're letting go of friends and allies and friendship circles that don't really fit you anymore. There's sort of a depletion there, but it's destined. Some of that may be because you're traveling and you're not near them, because there's a lot of stuff going on in that 9th house over the next 2 weeks and 6 months from this moon. Some of you might be doing a lot of new beginnings because you are traveling quite a lot. And that could be why you're not spending so much time with those groups of friends that are your regulars. And if you need to win in a court case, nothing like lucky Venus in the 9th house and talking to Jupiter in the legal mediation negotiations house. And so legal court matters can finally close out, most likely in your favor. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign, a new beginning in your chunky money house, a fresh start here. How do you wish to renew and revise and re-begin your long-range financial stories that are not the money from your paycheck, but rather the money you have because you win some money, you have an inheritance, you get some investment money paying off, your retirement fund suddenly kicks up a storm. Money of the 8th house it's also occult mysteries. Some of you might want to get down with, learning the tarot or studying occult ancient mystery traditions and sexual energies here. Hang on. It's tantric, it's deep, it's emotionally connected. It's that kind of stuff. So new beginnings and that kind of story. However, you can have secret love affairs here, and Venus is anoretic at a karmic degree. And if you are looking for love, you may find yourself involved in a secret love relationship, especially with Uranus in the 5th house of sexuality, that may surprise you. How'd you get here? How'd you end up in this low-key secret relationship? It may not be your bag, but here you are doing it. With the North Node involved and the South Node, this secret love connected to shocking sex, connected to 4th house matters, could be a secret love relationship that happens because of something close to your home. With Rahu here, maybe travel far away from home, foreign land travel. I don't know that it's that always, that like I just see Venus up there and I go, oh, what kind of sexual stuff is going on here? Anytime Venus is squaring Uranus, there may be like polyamory stories or open marriage stories going on. Now, this is not your marriage house. This is your sex and romance. This is like breaking the mold. This is like forbidden fruit and forbidden secrets, trysts and threesomes. And some of that energy can be playing out for some of you Capricorns. Otherwise, you win money through speculation and gaming, lotteries, shock and awe, surprise. 5th house may have occurred just before the new moon, and you may have ka-ching, some extra money in your pocket thanks to some financial win in the energy a week or so or a few days before the new moon. And that rolls out as a story in the 2 weeks and 6 months of satisfaction and around your long-range finances, because maybe you won some money. And the moon is the ruler of your marriage house. So maybe your partner won some money, your long-term relationship partner as well. And finally, just as a general note, Jupiter is in the work house, but also the karmic house. And if you have debts to pay off, or there's a debt owed to you karmically or for real, that's kind of karmic debt repayment plan energy. So you may finish up karmic relationships, Mars, you get bounteous and pleasure, prosperity from some situation that allows you to pay down any debts, that kind of thing. The moon is flowing to the nodes of fate, and it can relocate you, North Node in this 4th house, to a foreign place. And you may be letting go of an old identity in the career space as well, and how people see you and letting that go for good. I love Pluto over here, powering up your greater wealth, connected to a chunk of money over here. Looks like some of you are coming into a bit more money than you normally have. You could also get money from selling a property for some of you with this energy of 8 and 4 in the 2 weeks and 6 months, or buying a property that brings you great pleasure. But I also say, if you want to go to work, you're working from home. I mean, if there's a new job that Jupiter can bring you as he flows to the new beginnings, the eighth house can be bonus money, like a sign-on bonus, or chunks of money that come to you from new work situations that are not as much of a paycheck, like maybe a one-time retainer fee for some of you, that kind of money. Hey, Aquarius, I am indeed one of you, and we're here for Sun, Moon, and Rising. We have a new beginning, a fresh start in the long-term committed love house, in how you approach your client, audience, and marketplace, and your business partnerships. We have a fresh start. It's got a lot of love from Venus, and I lost Venus. She just crossed the line. Let's pull it back by day so you can see she's really here on Regulus, fixed star Regulus. She's baking in some auspicious surprises and goodness here to do with love, romance, commitment, business, and legal partnerships. Now, I think that because there's a devotional flame, that other person is devoted to you, whether it's a business partner or a love partner. They're expressing kind of sacred devotion toward you, a love and devotion toward you, a fierce protective mother bear toward you. This energy is also extremely powerful with Jupiter's support from the fifth house. It can indicate that creative projects, entrepreneurial business, sexuality, love, and romance is on the rise, is on the increase 2 weeks after this moon and up to 6 months after. Jupiter, it can bring you money luck and you can win some money. Hang on a sec. Oh, sorry. I'm expecting an important local call and I missed that. And it just signed off before I picked it up. Okay, they'll probably go to voicemail. Sorry about that. I don't know if that's the call I was waiting for, or if that was some telemarketer. Gotta hate that stuff, right? Expansion, growth, luck in a luck house. So there's definitely a chance for winning money, especially with Venus and Mercury sliding into the eighth house of chunky money. Some of you may be taking possession of some financial wins of some sort, lucky speculation, lotteries, gaming, who knows what. If that's not what it is, though, and doesn't have to be that, it's just a kind of sense of like you're sparking into a deeper joy in how you approach your marketplace, audience, your significant, committed, long-term love. You're seeking the joy spark here. And with this new moon, it's really helping you, the intensity of the eclipses through 9 and 3 for a while since 2023 continued to the end of this year. How are you dealing with it, guys? It's like all this intensity of expansion in the third house. For example, I've become social media slave, right? On my channel, on my social media. It's really consumed me to some degree. And I know I'm the hardest working astrologer on YouTube. There's a reason. It's my income source, right? It's not my hobby. So there's this kind of growth edge, this push, this striving, this desire, this for the third house things to work out for all of you, us. That can be travel, short distance, a lot of short distance travel since like 2023. Tell me about it. Long distance love story for me. There's got a lot of focus on creativity and writing projects in the online social media world, a lot of focus on maybe learning and teaching. And this intensity and letting go of your spiritual connection to God and your spiritual wisdom and your spiritual philosophy. Oh, yeah. But at the same time, this new moon says, let me take that tension away and let's focus it here. And it can be that an individual, Venus, a female, can enter into your life, maybe in business or in love, depends, whatever. And that can really help balance out where this intensity in the eclipses is happening. And you may meet a female or a new business partner female or love partner female through travel or in the local neighborhood. All that is possible. I do not mind Pluto in our house as Aquarians. It's giving us a new kind of power we've never had before, a power of presence, transformation, kind of an unwillingness to do anything that's not fully at a divine level, like harnessing the divine force within us, a powerful will beyond our personal will. We're now able to do things that are heroically before now impossible. So our willpower is also looking across our divine willpower at this new beginning in the seventh house. Finally, legal contracts of any kind are seventh house, and we have a shocking surprise in the fourth house just before the moon. Surprises around legal contracts, especially rentals. Moon rules your fifth, sixth. Surprises around rental agreements, rental contracts, and rental situations may be a part of what this new moon unfolds in the 2 weeks after and up to the just before, 2 weeks after, and in the 6 months that follow. And Pisces, sun, moon, and Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. A new moon, a new beginning, a fresh start in your sixth house. What's blossoming, what's fresh, what's new, that you can really harness with a kind of a creativity that's deep within you, a sacred devotion in the house of work. And if you're looking for work in the next 2 weeks and 6 months after this, I bet you're going to get it. Lucky Venus says, let's get your dream job. It can really open up new opportunities, and it can open up expansion of your earnings as well. So new jobs that open up expansion in your earnings, probably close to home with Jupiter, but then Mars is travel from home or exile from home. So I'm going to take that away. And Rahu is a foreigner. Some of you Pisces may get work opportunities, career opportunities, financial opportunities, connected to travel from home or foreigners or foreign places from your home, or maybe just for some of you being entrepreneurial in your home. Mars is a self-starter with Jupiter in the home. So financial increase here. And just before the moon started, there was a bit of a surprise perhaps emerging to do with your work or health and matters connected to travel, education, learning, the square between Venus and Uranus here in the third house. The whole axis of 612 often involves addiction, self-undoing, and all that good stuff, sabotaging energy. So you can also renegotiate this situation there with reality and quit something if you quit, this Mars is saying quit something that's not good for you, addictive. And that can be something that you're quitting because it's no longer needed. It came from your mom and dad, family of origin. You're cutting stories that don't let you prosper connected to your childhood here. And the nodes of fate, they've been trying to expand your money, and you've been trying to, but you've been wounded in the money story since 2018, 19. And this is also saying, well, let's turn it around, but let's turn it around through service, work as service, right? The most karmic house you have is your eighth house, and the ruler of that house, which is chunky money and your retirement of investments and the chunky money of inheritances. And that's the eighth house, and Venus is the ruler of it, and here she is in this karmic debt house. So you may be able to alleviate and eliminate debts in your life, real and karmic, in the 6 months that follow this moon and the 2 weeks that follow as well. Jupiter brings you luck, bounty, opportunity, and wealth from and in your home. And with the flow to the node of fate, some of that can be money through the sale of a property, but some of it's money that you could inherit. And so this kind of money could support a lot of Pisces. And it can be money that comes from not just traditional ways of inheritances, maybe money that your spouse gets, and you share that chunk of money from their family of origin inheritances. It doesn't have to be your own side of the family. All right. Amazing energy for changing your dietary style. Your health is a sixth house. A change of dietary style. New beginnings regarding pets in your home, new beginnings regarding rental property situations and leases, and new beginnings regarding health and diet. Those are major themes for all of you, Pisces, sun, moon, and rising, over the next 2 weeks from this auspicious moon and over the next 6 months as well. Thank you for listening, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I am exhausted. I woke up at 5 a.m. It's now almost 1 in the afternoon, my time. And I've got a long day ahead of me. I wonder if I should just take a nap. I don't normally do that, but I think I'll do a little yoga nidra and see if I can reboot. Thanks for listening. New video coming out after this one will probably be Mercury retrograde. So stay tuned for that. And every Monday I have my week ahead videos. And if you haven't caught wind of my week ahead videos, please do that as well. Every Monday you get a lowdown on the week ahead. Also, my newsletter is in the description box, Cosmic Moonshine. You guys get pop-up contests. I give readings away on YouTube. And that's one of the perks of being on the subscription for my newsletter. All right. Ciao, ciao.